Hey there, history explorers! Today we're cruising down the road to revolution, the wild ride that led the American colonies to break up with Britain. It's bumpy, it's dramatic, and yes, there's tea involved. Let's hit the gas. First stop, the Proclamation of 1763. After the French and Indian War, King George III drew a line down the Appalachian Mountains and said, "No colonists past this point." The colonists? Not thrilled. They wanted to move west, but the king said, "Nope, too dangerous, too expensive." Next up, the Sugar Act. Britain needed money, so they taxed sugar and molasses. This was the first time Parliament taxed the colonies to raise money, and let's just say that people weren't sweet on it. Then came the Stamp Act. Every paper, newspapers, playing cards, even diplomas needed a stamp that cost money. Colonists shouted, "No taxation without representation." They had no say in Parliament, but they sure had opinions. As if that wasn't enough, the Quartering Act said colonists had to house British soldiers. Colonists had to provide food, drink, fuel, transportation, and lodging, often in public buildings like inns, stables, and taverns. But if those were unavailable, private homes could be used. Imagine a redcoat showing up at your door like, "Hey, I'll be sleeping in your room and eating your snacks." Yeah, awkward. After protests, Britain repealed the Stamp Act, but then passed the Declaratory Act. It basically said, "We can still make laws for you, anytime, anywhere." And the colonists were like, "Wait, what just happened?" And here comes another tax, the Townshend Acts. Taxes on glass, paint, paper, and tea. Colonists boycotted British goods. No more fancy teacups or red paint for your barn. Britain was losing money, but they weren't backing down. And then things got really intense. In Boston, a crowd argued with British soldiers. Suddenly, shots fired. 5 colonists were killed. Paul Revere made a dramatic engraving and called it the Boston Massacre. Colonists were furious. Britain said it was an accident. Either way, the damage was done. Following the Boston Massacre came the Tea Act. It actually made tea cheaper, but only from one British company. Colonists saw it as a trick. "You're still taxing us without asking." The Tea Act was like your mom saying, "You can only drink this one soda, and I'll still charge you for it." So in response, the colonists threw a party. A Boston Tea Party. Colonists dressed as Mohawk Indians boarded ships and dumped 342 chests of tea, nearly $3 million worth in today's money, into Boston Harbor. Now that's one way to make a statement. Britain was furious. They passed the Coercive Acts. The colonists called them the Intolerable Acts. They closed Boston Harbor and took away Massachusetts' ability to self-govern, which the colony had maintained since its founding. Colonists said, "This is too much." So the colonies got together, well, 12 of them, everyone minus Georgia, and formed the First Continental Congress. They met in Philadelphia to write letters, make plans, and say, "We deserve rights." It was the first big step toward unity and revolution. And that's the road to revolution. From sugar to soldiers, tea to tantrums, the colonies were done being bossed around. Next stop, independence.